The desire to do and be our best is an innate driver for most people. While I say most people, I actually believe it's important for all human beings. The question is, how do we support people, in particular in a work context, to be their best? In this video, I'm going to share with you some information about how to actually do that as a manager. It will help you influence and shape how people behave around you and the choices they make. Hi, it's Philip Rowe from the Leadership Sphere. On this channel, we're all about creating insight, building influence, and helping you make a positive impact as a leader. If you're new here, then consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button below, and don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified. And all the links to everything we mentioned in this video can be found in the linked description below. So let's jump into it. Life's journey takes us down many different paths. Some of those paths nurture our desire and ability to be our best, while other pathways fight against our capacity to be a better version of ourselves. This isn't anybody's fault. Some people haven't discovered the choices that are available to them and/or given the opportunity or the tools to help them get there. When we come together as a collective in an organisational context, such as in teams, there's a kaleidoscope of history, personality types, development levels, focus, goals, and of course egos. When our goal is to influence others, either individually or collectively, then we need to understand human behaviour and how it is shaped. To better understand how this plays out, we can draw from many fields such as psychology, philosophy, and behavioural economics. So I want to introduce nudge theory. Nudge theory comes from the field of behaviour economics and has been popularised and developed by Richard Thaler, an economist from the University of Chicago who was recently announced as the year's recipient of the Nobel Prize for Economics. The central idea behind Professor Thaler's work is that we are not the rational beings more traditional economic theory would have us believe. In fact, given two options, we are likely to pick the wrong one, even if that means making ourselves less well off. Lack of thinking time, habit, poor decision makings mean that even when presented with a factual analysis, for example on healthy eating, we are still likely to pick the burger and chips. So nudge theory takes account of this, based as it is on the simple premise that people will often choose what is easiest over what is wisest. As a case in point, tests have shown that putting healthier food on a higher shelf increases sales. The food is more likely to be in someone's eye line and therefore nudge that person towards the purchase, whether they had any idea about the obesity argument or not. So how do we become a choice architect for those around us? One of the most fundamental yet challenging areas for managers is to influence people in service of a goal. However, managers often go about influencing in all the wrong ways. By failing to understand how people make choices at work and in their own lives, we set ourselves up to experience roadblocks, rework, pain and frustration, and ultimately costly failures in our projects and initiatives. By developing the knowledge and skills necessary to become a more effective choice architect, we can nudge people towards the choices we want or need them to make. While this may sound manipulative, it must always be in service of a higher purpose as opposed to servicing the needs of one individual's agenda. In a community context, we might hide cigarettes from view to reduce the uptake of smoking in young people. In an organisational context, if a team wanted to become, say, more strategic, we might ensure that only strategic topics are listed on the agenda, and as simple as this may sound, it can make a big difference. So developing requisite skills. To build stronger managers and leaders, we must do three things. Firstly, there must be insight created. That is, a greater awareness of ourselves and of other people and of the context in which we operate. Secondly, influence. The ability to guide and shape another person's thinking and actions. And finally, impact. Making a difference to our colleagues, our organisations, and our society. In fact, I would argue that it is the role of everyone, including parents, friends, siblings, colleagues and managers, to guide and support people along the chosen path. Sometimes, however, we need to create the context where we nudge people to make what we see as the right choices, or at least better choices. The difference between nudge theory and coercive influencing strategies is that in the purest form, in nudge theory, choices that are seen as suboptimal are always available and ultimately left up to the individual to exercise their freedom to choose. In this way, we avoid the trap of assuming an overly paternalistic or rigid approach and perhaps even occasionally a misguided pathway ourselves. So there you have it, my assessment of how to become a choice architect, which I think is an invaluable skill for any manager. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you like the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up below. You can also find out more in the description below. Until next time, bye for now.